New Twister. It's gonna blow you away. Only at Universal Studios Florida. Come ride it out.
Hello, and welcome to Theme Park History, the channel for everything to do with theme parks, big and small, past and present. Today in our very first episode, we'll be taking a look at the history of Universal Studios Florida's Twister, Ride It Out, a special effects attraction that opened in May of 1998 and closed in November of 2015. This attraction was based on the hit 1996 blockbuster film Twister, which starred Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt as storm chasers that joined together to create an advanced weather alert system by putting themselves in the crosshairs of extremely violent tornadoes.
It's okay. Hear it now. It's alright. We're just gonna close.
We need to get down to Stormville right now.
Okay.
Come on, Don.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. All right, here we go, sweetie.
Hurry.
Here we go.
If you don't have a cellar or basement, build the center part of your house.
On May 10, 1996, Universal Pictures released Twister. The disaster adventure film earned over $41 million in its opening weekend and went on to make over $494 million worldwide, making it the second highest grossing film of the year after Independence Day. Wanting to capitalize on the popularity of the film, in February of 1997, Universal Studios announced an attraction based on the film would be coming to their Florida theme park. Twister, Ride It Out would be replacing the Ghostbusters Spooktacular attraction, which had already been closed in November of 1996. When coming up with a design for the attraction, the team at Universal Creative had to solve the challenge of not only being able to bring a tornado indoors, but also being able to successfully repeat this feat multiple times a day for each show. Instead of creating a ride system for the attraction, it was decided that a special effects show would not only be cheaper, but also much more impressive. The show would enable guests not only witness, but to feel what it would be like if they were to counter a tornado in real life. Since the movie relied heavily on CGI and special effects to create the ominous storms and violent tornadoes, Universal had to think outside the box when it came to bringing this movie to life. For the ride, the Universal creative team had to come up with something that would not only bring guests face to face with a tornado, but do it without putting them in harm's way. While in San Francisco, a Universal executive saw a piece of artwork created by Ned Kahn, an artist who specialized in sculpting tornadoes and vortexes with installations in science centers around the world. This art installation generated a vortex and created an illusion of a small tornado taking place. This would become the foundation used to bring the tornado to life for the ride. The team at Universal Creative began working on creating a larger vortex and hired wind flow expert Kermac Perka Perkinson Incorporated to help with the attraction. The goal was to create a reliable indoor tornado that was approximately 5 stories tall and 12 feet wide. If successful, the creative team would have built the largest indoor tornado ever created by man at the time. They began by building a 1/4 scale model of the vortex, which worked beautifully. Feeling confident, the model was then scaled up to full size. This is when the team started running into problems. To generate the full-size effect, it was necessary to generate constant winds of 35 miles per hour. The studio was outfitted with 30 specially designed fans arranged in 3 tiers: ground level, mid-level, and high level. 18 of those fans had plates 7 feet tall. We invite our employees into the ride, said J. Michael Hightower, the project director of Twister Ride It Out. It had a detrimental effect on the tornado. This special effect is the most difficult at Universal because we don't have direct control over it. For instance, if you want the jaw shark to move faster, we would just turn up the pressure. A computerized weather tracking system was installed that monitored the outside wind velocity, humidity, and barometric pressure to maximize the size and shape of the twister inside. The team brought in 240 mannequins with clothes to tweak the effect. The result was a reliable tornado of the correct size that could move as much as 30 feet in any direction from its origin. The volume of air used could fill 4 full-size airborne blimps. The team used hundreds of xenon strobes flash to simulate lightning, and the sound of thunder was piped in through 54 speakers powered by 42,000 watts, which is enough to power 5 average homes. The roar of a hurricane was composed of a combination of sounds, including camel sounds, lion roars, and backward human and animal screams. More than 65,000 gallons of recycled water fed the rainstorm and could be ready for the next show every 6 minutes. The 20 Laserdisc players, 300 speakers, and 60 video monitors were connected by over 50 miles of electric wire and controlled by 20 different computers. With a price tag of $16 million, Twister, Ride It Out, officially opened at Universal Studios on May 4, 1998 in the New York section of the park. The grand opening was originally scheduled for April 1998, but was delayed 1 month due to tornadoes that killed 42 people in Central Florida in February of that year. Universal donated $100,000 to aid the victims. Taking place at the storm-damaged Soundstage 50, guests would first enter the Q, which would be a small mock-up of Wakita, a town in Oklahoma from the movie. The Q had many props and vehicles, including Authority, the probe that helps the characters find information about tornadoes. There were various monitors that showed actual home video of tornadoes hitting different places around the world, and signs that carried information about the Fujita scale, which is used to determine how strong a tornado is. Guests would then be ushered into the first pre-show room, where there would be more props from the movie and 2 large screens. Guests would then watch a video hosted by Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt, the 2 stars from the movie. Fun fact, both Paxton and Hunt were filmed separately for their introductions, and besides the scenes from the movie, are actually never shown together on screen throughout the attraction. This was supposedly done because Paxton and Hunt did not get along during the shooting of the original movie, and afterwards never wanted to work with each other again. In the video, Paxton and Hunt discuss on screen what they had gone through when making the picture, mentioning the incredible amount of special effects work that was put into the movie, and just how close they got to a real tornado. They would also discuss tornadoes themselves, describing them as terrifying yet beautiful forces of nature that should never be underestimated. The 2 then invite the guests to experience what they went through on set, and to join them on the stage to see for themselves just how powerful a Twister can really be. Guests then enter a second pre-show room, this time onto the set of Aunt Meg's damaged home after the tornado, also from the movie. Windows are shattered, trees are through the roof, and even a car through the roof with one of its wheels still spinning. Guests then watch another video on televisions that have been made to look like they've been impaled on the wall, as if by tremendous force. In this video, Paxton and Hunt talk about how hard it was to film the movie, as they were hit with 100-mile-per-hour winds by a commercial jet engine, 400-pound blocks of ice chipped and blasted at them, and even having an exploding gasoline tanker drop in front of them. As soon as the video ends, the television starts to static, and the channel changes where a weather anchor issues a tornado warning in the area the guests are in. Guests are finally led into the main show. The guests would line up on a tiered observation platform under a congregated metal roof overlooking a real 25,000 square foot soundstage scene from the movie, featuring a view of the Galaxy Drive-In Theater and the Rockets Hamburger Diner. As dark clouds begin to roll overhead, a tree gets struck by lightning. Scenes from the people from under the stairs begin to play on the movie screen. Sirens are sound briefly, and the winds on the soundstage start to get stronger, as well as rain beginning to fall from the sky. A small flashlight can be seen inside the diner a few feet away, as voices of a family within the restaurant scream to get to shelter. A projected tornado drops from the sky in the background. As it fully forms, getting closer to the guests, the tornado churns and destroys the drive-in theater. Another tornado appears on the stage, this one being 5 stories tall and 12 feet wide, shattering the glass in the diner windows, as guests would be squirted with water from behind. As Dorothy flies by, the tornado rips the Galaxy sign away and crashes inside Eric's garage. A cow then flies by the guests, playing homage to a memorable scene from the movie.
Cow. I gotta go, Julia. We got cows.
As it couldn't get any worse for the guests, the roof on the observation platform also threatens to tear off, being pulled upwards. A pickup truck begins to slide towards 2 gas pumps due to the force of the tornado. The truck hits one of these gas pumps, causing gasoline to leak out along with electrical sparks. The gas and the sparks start a fire, which eventually reaches the tornado and causes a fireball 3 stories high to erupt. As the tornado dies out, the roof falls down above the guests and the floor also gives a sudden drop, giving them one final scare. Bill Paxton thanks everyone for surviving the attraction.
Thank you for surviving Twister. Please pick up your personal belongings and exit to your left. This is Bill Paxton. Have a great day at Universal Studios, Florida.
Directing them to exit to the left through the gift shop called Aftermath. The experience, especially viewed for the first time, was a quick-paced descent into disaster with an actual funnel cloud forming on the stage. This adventure continued daily until February 19, 2009, when the attraction began operating only during peak seasons. This would only last 6 weeks, however, as due to guest demand, the ride would reopen on March 9, 2009. On October 27, 2015, after 17 years of operation, Universal announced that Twister, Ride It Out, would close on November 1st, 2015, in order to make room for a new attraction, Race Through New York, starring Jimmy Fallon. So why did the attraction close? Even though it was a hit with guests when it first opened, the popularity of the attraction began to dwindle over its lifespan. In its last few years, the wait time for the attraction ranged anywhere between 15 to 5 minutes. Little had been done over the years to update the attraction, keeping the same feel it had since opening day, which was also a factor for the loss of repeatability among pass holders and returning guests. It was an attraction that once you experienced it, you weren't missing anything going on for a second time, but it still remained the favorite amongst the core group. Another factor that played into the closing of the ride, Comcast. In January of 2011, Comcast, the largest broadcasting and cable television company in the world by revenue, purchased NBC Universal, which gave them ownership of NBC Television Network and its cable properties, the major film studio Universal Studios, and most importantly in our case, the Universal Parks and Resorts. Looking for a way to bring synergy between the companies and to capitalize on Jimmy Fallon taking over as the host of The Tonight Show, removing Twister Ride It Out made the most sense. Twister Ride It Out was one of the most impressive special effects attractions to ever be created, as its realism can be credited to Universal's creative team working closely with weather experts to bring the terrifying force of a tornado for guests to experience. While the attraction might be discredited by some due to its lack of a ride system and becoming outdated pretty quick, its finale did still entertain guests for years. Plus, the attraction also gave guests, including myself, tons of great lines from the one and only Bill Paxton.
I'm Bill Paxton. They call F5 tornadoes the finger of God. Few have stared one in the face and survived to tell the tale. Then they dropped an exploding gasoline tanker right in our face. You start believing the Twister is not just a weather condition. It takes on a life of its own, becoming an entity. A demon spirit. A devouring colossus bent on destruction. By the end, there's only one thing you can do. Hold on for your life.
So that is the theme park history of Twister Ride It Out. Thank you to everybody who's watched our first video. We really do appreciate the support. We're hoping to cover not only past attractions, but current ones as well for many of the parks around the world. If there are any attractions you'd like us to cover in future episodes, leave a comment down below and we'll look into doing some research on it. As always guys, we appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It goes a long way in supporting our channel. And until the next episode, thank you, and see you then.
Wow, that was a close one.